World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19. Co for Corona.
Coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
A virus is more powerful in creating political, economic, and social upheaval than any terrorist
And
attack.
Turkey is imposing a full nationwide lockdown. The number of new infections in the country soared to record levels.
India has set another global record in coronavirus cases. India's healthcare system is so overwhelmed that many patients are being coronavirus infections are surging across Africa.
The World Health Organization is warning of a new wave of COVID infections and deaths. This follows weekend protests in France, Italy, and Australia against new restrictions.
Protests have also taken place in Austria and Croatia. And in the Netherlands, there is now a third night. In just the past day, more than 1.3 million Americans tested positive for
Philippine
COVID.
President Rodrigo Duterte has threatened to jail anyone who refuses to be vaccinated
Brazilian
against
President Jair Bolsonaro said on Thursday that he will not get himself vaccinated.
A new variant has emerged in France. It has almost as many mutations as Omicron. According to experts, there's not enough available info to determine if it's more contagious or dangerous than other strains.
I know this kinda seems like a strange way to open up a video talking about Super Smash Bros. And its 5-year history, but the impact of COVID-19 cannot be understated. Only a quarter of the way into a blossoming new year did the sparks of early unrest and trouble at the start of the year suddenly catch fire and set the entire world ablaze, changing a lot of things for a lot of people really freaking quickly. And for me, it actually didn't change all that much. In November of 2019, actually before Byleth was revealed, I needed to leave the golf course because the season was changing and they don't necessarily need seasonal grounds crew members at the golf course during the dead of winter. So I got myself a job working in the electronics department for a Meijer in my local area. For those who don't know, Meijer is basically a Walmart clone in the Midwest. It's nicer than Walmart, but not as nice as Target, I'd say, maybe. Regardless, I worked in the electronics department through the Christmas season, and then when that came to an end, I was moved over to the general merchandise section, basically stocking shelves, helping out in the back room, odds and ends, basic retail job stuff. And as March was rolling around, my hours were starting to get less and less. And I was actually starting to get kinda nervous I would have to go back to the golf course just so I could get more regular hours and a better paycheck. Then the world caught on fire. And because of that, I was already working in a grocery store, so my hours increased exponentially because they needed all the help they could get. I wouldn't necessarily say, even though I was quote-unquote an essential worker, I was in too much danger comparatively. For Pete's sake, our healthcare workers were literally staring down the barrel of the gun of COVID, versus me in an environment that was able to enforce a capacity limit, double masked, and just helping out people where I could, mostly at a social distance. Oh sure, there were still the crazy heads that would ramble off about conspiracy theories and things like that from time to time, but nothing that really made things too dangerous, at least in retrospect. At the time, even though I knew I wasn't staring down the barrel of the gun, I definitely thought, like many other people, I was very much in the crosshairs of COVID, and I wanted to get the heck out of that job and find something better. And during that time I was still looking for jobs, Min Min came out. A Nintendo first-party character that surprisingly wasn't the poster character or the main protagonist of its series. Compared to Fire Emblem or even Zelda, Min Min was one of just many characters amongst the roster of ARMS. And even the trailer showcased this. All the fighters in ARMS trying to get their hands on the Smash invite until Min Min eventually came in and took over. And kinda like Byleth before her, I didn't really care about this character. I know of ARMS, I think I played a demo of it once, but I just was like, it's another first-party character. Also the fact that months prior, Nintendo also said, oh yeah, the next DLC is gonna be an ARMS character, guess which one it is, kind of lowered the hype. I believe that their plan was to reveal 2 characters at E3 like they had the year prior, and Min Min was just a softball setup leading into the next reveal. But obviously COVID changed their strategy. I still remember the day that I found out Min Min was the one coming to the game. At that point in time, we had already set up socially distanced break tables in our back room so that people could just sit at one table alone and then have a socially distanced conversation with other people around them. I just checked my phone and I saw, oh, it's Min Min. Okay, whatever. But after Min Min came out, a few more months passed, and I actually got a new job. It was remote work, and it was a job I really enjoyed. Which meant that when it came time for the next reveal for Smash Ultimate, I was just able to watch it on my own time while I was able to do my job at home. It was a lot of fun. And I'm honestly gonna get a lot of flack for this because this was arguably maybe the second or third biggest reveal of the entire Fighters Pass. I didn't care that Steve was in the game. I get it. Minecraft is huge. Minecraft is arguably one of the most, if not the most popular game in the world. It's definitely sold like it. But I just don't play Minecraft. I've thought about getting it because some of my friends play it, but for me, I just seem like, cool, so what do? You craft stuff, or how do you build stuff? Like, given the way my brain functions, I'm not sure if I'd be able to get into the building mechanic, because a lot of the stuff people build requires a bit more of a certain angle within the motor functions of their brain that mine doesn't necessarily have. I do have a motor dysfunction and a few other things, so handwriting's really difficult for me. I can't draw to save my life. I can't even learn another language even if I really wanted to. It's a bummer. But regardless, this was actually really important because Steve signaled that Nintendo was not just stopping all the third-party DLC characters. Some people online were starting to get a little bit antsy that the last character of Fighters Pass 1 and the first character of Fighters Pass 2 were both Nintendo characters, and some tinfoil hat theories were saying Nintendo's just going to make it all Nintendo characters for the rest of the Fighters Pass. There are no more third-party characters. They did it all in Fighters Pass 1. It's going to be nothing but disappointment from here on out, baby! And Steve put those worries to rest right quick with his reveal. So he came out and became the most busted character in the entire game, and apparently had an impressive piece of meat. Ha! I still remember the day Steve came out. I texted my brother looking at my TV screen and the announcer going, "Steve!" and thinking, man, this just does not feel real. It feels so weird. But that led to the next reveal at the Game Awards. And oh man, this was the first time I was extremely excited with a reveal. The one-winged angel himself, Sephiroth. Holy cow, I was excited. Granted, I was still pining for Sora, but Sephiroth was a really cool addition. A villain character. Somebody I had fought twice before in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And like, holy moly, his trailer was incredible. Harkening back to Advent Children. Mario getting stabbed. Like, what the heck? All of the characters that came before him got a lot of people to jump out of their seats in excitement, similar to Banjo or even Hero, maybe even Joker for some folks. Sephiroth was the first character out of any DLC, not just an Ultimate, but all of Smash, to make me jump out of my seat in excitement, saying, yes, this is a character I'm super happy to have in Smash Bros. I tried to main him when he finally did come out a few weeks later, but he was a bit too much of a glass cannon for my personal playstyle. He was fun, and he hit like a semi-truck, but he also got frickin' flung like a baseball out of a cannon. But even to this day, he still stands as one of my favorite reveals of all time because, again, it was a character I knew and liked coming to Smash. A bit more so than some of the others, but still. And I actually got back-to-back characters I was excited to see in Smash Bros. Pyra and Mythra were revealed a few months later in a Nintendo Direct, and were received with about the same level of excitement and anger that most of the other Nintendo first-party DLC characters got. But I didn't care, I didn't listen to them, I was hyped. I love the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy. I really like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't like it as much as 1 and 3, but that's another story. I've seen some people say that they personally feel like the trailer went on a little bit too long, and while I can see where they're coming from, especially with the opening bit with Rex going to every major character in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before we finally get the reveal of Pyra in the game, I actually kind of like it in hindsight. You're not exactly sure what to expect. You start off with animation from Monolith Soft instead of Sakurai and the Smash team, so it looks like it's actually a trailer for something related to Xenoblade. And then it switches over to Smash Bros. And you're just like, holy cow! Plus the fun little teaser at the end between Shulk and Pyra Mythra. For those who have played the game and actually have experienced the DLC of Chronicles 2, this was a little bit extra something special and funny. At that point in time, both Sephiroth's presentation and Pyra Mythra's presentation were the only gameplay showcases that Sakurai did where I watched from start to finish. I watched some parts of the previous ones, but I wasn't exactly engaged. These two, I was just like, ooh, these are interesting moves. Yes, Sakurai, tell me more about these games I've already played and how you truly try to represent them in Smash. And it was awesome. I had two characters I loved in Smash Bros. Back to back, my job was going well, and things were looking up. Then they released Kazuya, and just like with Terry, I had no idea who he was. Again, I was at least somewhat aware of Tekken, so I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. I didn't know the whole history of Tekken crossing over into other fighting games, so I didn't know how much of a surprise this was. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't know who this character is, I don't really care, it's another broken 2D fighting game character. And holy Hannah, why did the 2D fighting game characters get all of the music? But this was literally just the first reveal of Nintendo's Direct at E3. I knew that they probably had some big, heavy hitter to close out Smash Bros. To reveal. And they closed out with Zelda instead, which I loved. But I was then like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to wait for the final Smash Bros. Character to be revealed. And with that particular wait, I'm actually gonna end the video here. Oh yes, I know there's one more character in Fighters Pass 2. But you might have noticed I've kept referencing a singular character throughout this entire retrospective. Yeah, Sora's getting his own video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. And just as a reminder, if I hit 100 subscribers here on YouTube before next Thursday, the 7th, I will do a 12-hour live stream of Super Smash Bros. And if I somehow hit 1,000 subscribers, I will do a 24-hour live stream going into the Game Awards. Once again, I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to try and make me do this goofy challenge. May your heart be your guiding key.